Hello everyone, and welcome to another kinetic-type tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to create this really cool kinetic-type motion using After Effects. But before we start, I just want to give credit to Konstantin aka Tinjutkin on Instagram. When his kinetic-type experiment popped up on my Instagram feed, I was amazed. It was so creative and unique, and he made it using Cavalry, an amazing motion graphics software. But I was really curious to see how I could achieve the same result using After Effects. So yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do today. So let's get started. I already have a composition ready. I'm using 1080 by 1080 pixels at 30 frames per second and a duration of 15 seconds. Nice. Let's begin by selecting the text tool and writing the first letter of the word you want to use. I'm going to use noon, just like in the example I showed you at the beginning of the tutorial. Nice. Then duplicate this layer as many times as needed to complete your word. In my case, it's a 4-letter word, so I'll duplicate it 3 more times. Now spread the letters around a little so you can see them properly. Cool. The way we're going to achieve this square orbit motion is through an expression. This means the letters will be guided by a few lines of code in their position property. Super easy, trust me. But before I share the code with you, you'll need to do something first. Let's right-click in the timeline, select New, and choose Null Object. Then name it Control. On this null, we're going to add a few sliders. I know for some people sliders can feel tricky, but they're actually super useful because they allow you to control expression parameters without directly modifying the code. This makes fine-tuning the animation quick and intuitive. So let's add some to our null. With the null selected, go to the Effects menu, then to Expression Controls and select Slider Control. Now, with the slider control selected, let's duplicate it 3 more times so we end up with 4 sliders. Each slider has an important role, so let's give them names. The first one, let's name it OrbitSize. This slider controls the base size of the square orbit. Larger values create bigger orbits, while smaller values shrink the motion path. The second slider, let's name it Distance, and it controls the spacing between each layer's orbit. Next is the Delay slider, which introduces a delay in the start time of each layer's motion based on its index. Finally, the Duration slider sets how long it takes for each layer to complete one full orbit around the square. Nice. Now that we have our sliders, the only thing left is to add the code to the layers. Select one of your text layers, open the Position property, and while holding the Alt key, click on the stopwatch to open the expression editor, and paste this code. And don't worry, the code will be available in the video description. Then repeat this process for the other text layers. When that's done, if you preview it, nothing happens yet. That's because we haven't set any values in the sliders. So let's go back to the control null and add these values to the sliders. On the orbit size, let's make it 1000. On the distance, let's make it 180. The duration will be 5 and the delay. Let's make it 5 again. Now give it another preview. That's it. Our square orbit motion is working. Feel free to play around with the slider values to achieve different visuals. I'm sure you'll have lots of fun. And that's basically half the job done. Now let's select all the layers, right-click, and choose Precompose. Give the precomp a proper name, like Square Orbit Main. Nice. Move the timeline to the 5-second mark. By the way, if you enjoyed this tutorial and find it helpful, please consider supporting me on my Buy Me a Coffee page. For just $1, you get access to scripts that will improve your workflow and working files like the one from this tutorial. And your support really means a lot to me. It helps me continue creating content like this. So yeah, think about it. So let's go back to the tutorial. And with the composition selected, right-click and go to Markers, Add Marker. Relax, this will make sense in a moment. Now duplicate your composition 4 times. Then using the marker, move each new layer back 1 second from the previous one. So you'll have markers at 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and 1 second. The next step is to adjust the hour work area from 5 to 10 seconds, and that will create our loop point. Then let's select everything again and pre-compose once more. And let's give this new pre-comp a new name, like square orbit multiple. And we're 95% there. Select the new pre-comp and press Ctrl or Command plus D to duplicate it. On the bottom pre-comp, we're going to add a couple of effects. First, go to Effects, Time, and select the Echo effect. Then return to Effects, choose Color Correction, and select the Tint effect. For the Echo effect, divide the echo time value by 4, so it's 0.008. Increase the number of echoes to 80, leave start intensity at 1, and set decay to 0.95. For the tint effect, change the white to a cool color to make the trail stand out from the top layer. Then be sure to adjust the work area from 5 to 10 seconds and give it a nice preview. And that's pretty much it. And for the circular orbit, simply replace the square orbit expression with this code. You might need to adjust the orbit size and step size values for this new motion. But once you do that, you'll have an amazing circular orbit motion. How cool is that? Super easy to achieve both visuals with just a few sliders and a couple of expressions. And if you want to achieve something like this even faster, I've just updated my orbit path script to include 2 new orbits. Here's a quick demo of the orbit path script. It creates orbit animations in various styles: a regular circular orbit, an elliptical orbit, a figure 8 orbit, and a random orbit, where each individual layer will orbit alone in a random place. And now the 2 new orbits I've named stepped circular and stepped square. The script automatically applies the necessary expressions and creates a control null, so you don't have to worry about copying and pasting expressions manually. Just select the orbit you want and it will update everything for you. On the control null, you'll find sliders to adjust the animation, including 2 dedicated sliders for the stepped orbits featured in this tutorial. It's a cool tool that I believe can be really handy. It's available on my Buy Me a Coffee page, along with all my other scripts and working files. Plus, if you purchase this working file, the script is included. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and again, please consider supporting me on my Buy Me a Coffee page. As I said before, for just $1 you get access to this working file from this tutorial and many others, including scripts that will improve your workflow dramatically. So yeah, it's a good deal, trust me. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, have a great day, a great life, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, bye.